guys agree or disagree that there are many different forms of independence? For example, there is financial independence, there is emotional independence, there is a spiritual independence, a moral independence, a social independence, etc. Can you agree with that? It is also possible for you to achieve one of these forms of independence while lacking another form. So you may become financially independent, but that doesn't automatically make you morally independent. That doesn't automatically make you emotionally independent. Does that make sense to you too? Okay, now with that in mind, consider the game that we're playing here on Earth in society, playing the independence game. All right, we all want to become independent. There are many different ways to achieve independence or self-sufficiency or abundance, right? And a lot of people seem to think that financial independence is the gateway to all other forms of independence. That might be true for some people, but it might also be true for other people that financial independence is gained by first accessing other levels of independence, other forms of independence that will eventually lead you to financial independence, all right? And that's sort of the idea I wanted to talk to you about today. Now, independence, generally speaking, if you want to be totally independent, then there are some key things that you can change, because imagine life as a game, okay? And life is just like a game in the sense that as far as society is concerned, there are certain rules that we play the game by, and it seems that the game works out best for the majority of people when the majority of the people are following the rules and are not trying to cheat other players out of their spoils, right? A game, it's just no fun to play with a cheater, you know what I mean? And cheating itself, it can be fun to win, but eventually it's like, what am I even playing for if all I'm gonna do is cheat? You understand? Like using an aimbot in a video game. Like, you're not getting any better at the game, you're just winning. Like, you're just in it for the clout, but you're not really growing or progressing as a person until you hit this brick wall of the cheater lifestyle that makes you turn around, do a 180, right? So let's look at games. If you look at the game of chess, for example, there are certain things you need to know about this game specifically in order to play this game, chess, specifically. You need to know the rules, the general rules of the game, of the board, what pieces can move where, and how they attack, right? And how they are able to defend. And you might need to know the time limit. All of this, there are all these very game-specific rules, but there are also a set of rules that exist above the stratosphere of that individual specific game, that if you could embody these rules up here, it would make you better at all games all across the board. And this would be things like sportsmanship, right? How to lose and how to win. Because victory can destroy a person, right? Just like defeat can destroy a person. You have to learn how to lose, just like you have to learn how to win. All right? That's something that was real hard for me to understand and to comprehend for a long time. You have to learn how to lose, and you have to learn how to win. These are rules that extend beyond the individual game, right? So as far as the independence game is concerned, you may be looking for financial independence. Maybe you're in it for emotional independence or moral independence, right? These are all different, say, specific games. The financial independence game, the moral independence game, the emotional independence game, they're all separate, right? And you have to learn how each one works. So the independence, the rules to independence as far as the world of finance is concerned, those are not going to be the same specific rules that you would apply to your personal relationships to gain an emotional independence, you see? But there are rules that connect the dots between each one of these games, all right? Each one of these games influences the players and the outcomes of the other games. Now, this is the part that's kind of hard for me to explain because I've just been discovering it, thinking about it for myself here recently. My son asked me a question while he was here. He said, "Dad, don't you think it's strange that you never really look yourself directly in the face?" Right? He said, "Isn't it strange that your eyes never truly look into themselves? Like, you can look at yourself in the mirror or the reflection in the car window or in a mud puddle even, but you never really look at yourself directly." All right? You can project onto many a reflective surface, but you can never look at yourself directly, physically. I also think it is almost as impossible for people to look at themselves, metaphorically speaking, right? It's very hard for you to look at yourself moralistically. It's very hard for you to look at yourself emotionally and see your own character defects and flaws and where you could improve, right? It's very hard to look at yourself and be honest about all of your weaknesses. You see what I'm saying? Just like it's very hard for you to look at yourself without a mirror, it's going to be very hard for you to look at yourself in any other fashion without a mirror, without being able to look into a reflective surface. Now, you and I, being human, we are reflections of each other. We are wired, generally speaking, the same way biologically. We experience the same range and spectrum of emotions and of intellect. You see what I'm saying? So, when we look out into the world, other people are like perfect mirrors. They are the perfect reflective surface for us to look at them and see ourselves, right? And oftentimes we see the negative things about ourselves and other people. We get offended by the actions of other people, right? But your offended nature does nothing to change the fact for that individual, right? You could come up with any story you wanted to say about that person. Oh, look at them not wearing a mask. What an idiot. That actually has no effect on that person. It does have a profound effect on you in your life, though. You have become dependent. How so? You become morally dependent. The way that you can look out and see people without a mask and say, "Look at that anti-masker. He's probably a Trumper. He probably believes this and that," and you create a whole fucking story, a whole image in your mind about that person. And that doesn't affect that other person at all. It only torments you. In your mind, you're the one having all of these dirty ass thoughts. Huh? And it makes you feel superior. It makes you feel morally superior. You can put yourself up on a pedestal now, but none of it's true, is it? I started to see this phenomena happening as the result of this, presidential election. I started seeing the population be divided in ways I've never seen before, and it really made me start to think. When I started to look out and I could see this in other people, I'm like, dang, y'all are really like nitpicking these people, and it's giving you some sort of sense of superiority and even in a sense of authority over other people and over their lives. That shit was crazy to me when I first started to see it. But I don't like to judge people like that. I don't like to externalize my life experience. So I don't want to pin that on them. Like, I'm not playing pin the tail on the donkey and saying, look at all these jackasses out here. You see what I'm saying? I'm directing it back at myself. I'm saying, is there any way in my life that I do that? Do I look at other people and judge every single little thing that they're doing to make myself feel better about me? And it's not even necessarily to make me feel better about myself. It's to make me feel like I'm making some sort of progress in my life. It's just straight programming, bro. It's like seeing a homeless person and saying, what an idiot, bro. How unfortunate. I'm so thankful for my home. I'm so thankful for the money in my wallet. I'm so thankful that I'm not in the position that that person is in, and that makes you feel good. That makes you feel like you're doing something with your life, right? But you're dependent, totally dependent on the misfortune of other people or something like that. So I really started to look at myself honestly, and I noticed that there are indeed a lot of the times, every single day, when I do that, when I judge other people in order to feel like I'm making some sort of forward progress in my life, like I am handling all my own defects, but I'm not. I'm not. That's why I can still see it in everybody else, in that reflection. It's still there staring right back at me. And that's so crazy to me. So 2021 is a year for me where I'm really trying to achieve some sort of independence. I don't give a fuck. Can I just be honest with you? I don't care what you do. I'm being honest, bro. Like, I care about you. I want you to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. I want you to find whatever it is that you're looking for. But above all else, I hope that you get what you deserve. And I don't care about anything else. I just want you to get what you deserve. That's it. And I just hope I get what I deserve. That's the only way that I'm ever going to learn. What if I'm making a bunch of mistakes and everybody else just keeps smoothing it out for me? You know what I mean? And I never learn. I just keep making the same mistakes, but I just am never aware of it. Sometimes you need people to let you fall flat on your face, right? Sometimes you just need to fall flat on your face. And that's what it feels like when you give up that moral nitpicking, that superiority complex. It feels like you're falling flat on your face, but really you're standing up, you're rising above that. That's like that. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But it's just something that I didn't necessarily want to do. Like, I feel like what goes around comes around. So if I spend all of my time judging other people, nitpicking other people, finding all of their character defects and things like this and pinning it all on them and making them out to look like jackasses and me never change, I just feel like I'm not making any progress. That's not something I want to do going forward into the future. I feel like if I could abandon the fight over opinions, abandon the fight over the facts, then maybe I would have a lot of free time and a lot of energy to focus on me and my goals, right? And maybe then I would really begin to move forward. It's just something to think about, man. Anyway, until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind.